Hi, my name is Jackie Lee Price and welcome to Shadowboxing. Hi and welcome to Champ Tunes and Chat. I have a special guest here today, Thomas McCARTHY, and the third person in the ring is...
DJ Sai.
Thomas McCARTHY, how you doing?
I'm all good. As I say, no complaints, no stress.
You look chilled. Nice to see your face.
Thank you.
So I know there's a big afro underneath there.
Well,
No.
you know what? I've just finished training, so that's why if my energy's a bit low, but I wax my hair, so I'll put it on this hat because it only fits when it's wet. So
you should have come out with the like it loud and proud.
I know, sure, but it's still wet. That's why I was leaving the house, so I just threw a hat on quickly.
So how has lockdown been treating you in Ireland?
To be honest, it's been good. Like I've spent a lot of time with my children and my wife, and we had great weather. So the weather has kept everybody's spirits high, and spent a lot of time, in the back garden. We have a great setup in the back garden. It's turned into like a mini park for my kids. So we've had a lot of time outdoors and just having as much fun as possible.
Yeah, nice. Did you realise how much time you didn't spend with them before this lockdown?
Yeah, I really didn't, because so many things that you do during the day that you don't even realise are like major things, like going out for lunch or going to meet a friend or going for a coffee or just going to see someone, like or going to the shop, or just be small things. Like when you don't do that during the day, like in your home all day, it's like, where have I been? Like I would never usually be at home this much, and not being able to go to the gym as well. So that not getting to the gym kind of started getting to me a bit. It made me appreciate the gym more because I realized how much I love going to the boxing gym and going to the regular gym as well. So I'll never take it for granted for as long as I live.
But to be fair, Tommy, you've been training since you were a kid. Was it 11 or 12? So surely in that respect, just having that little tiny break has renewed your kind of enthusiasm for it all.
Yeah, well, see, when the lockdown came into play before they opened it, before I was able to get back into a gym, it's the longest I've ever went without training properly. So it was so alien to me, and I hated it. I really didn't. It really made me remember how much I love this sport. Sometimes, it does get monotonous, as you say. I've been doing it from I was 11, 12, and it's like, go to the gym again. Sometimes it became a chore, but this has just made me realize it's not a chore. It's the decision I made when I was a young boy. So I'm glad I made that decision, and it just felt annoying getting it took away from me. So I'm back in love with the gym.
Yeah, a lot of boxers I've been speaking to are like, "Oh my God, this is what defines me, and I miss it so much." And so, yeah, I think it's great that everyone's kind of got this renewed energy. So I understand that you're a WBC International Cruiserweight Champion. I understand that you're now in the mix, though, for like a world title. Is that correct? Let me just turn my phone off. Sorry about that.
No, you're all right. Well, you have to be in the top 15 with the WBC to get a shot at the title. So I'm my name's in the hat, so to speak, for a WBC shot, and I'm hoping that I get that shot against Alinga Makubu. And I was offered the fight for the WBA Super Cruiserweight title against the French champion Arsene Gourdemin. So that offer came to me and my team maybe about 2 weeks before the Corona kicked off, maybe a couple of weeks beforehand. And so of course we jumped at the chance, and agreed the terms and whatnot. So once the terms were agreed, then that camp kind of went quiet on us, and then coronavirus come in. So hopefully these opportunities come back round once the lockdowns are lifted.
Has anybody been in touch with regard to that fight, or are you just assuming it's going ahead?
No, no one's been in touch, so I'm just assuming that they're looking at other options.
Right. Because I read somewhere that you were thinking about giving up in 2019, which I mean, I'm involved in amateur boxing, so I've been following your career since you were a kid. And, you know, there was so much, you were such a great amateur that it was quite shocking to me to hear you say, somebody like you say, listen, I'm done, I've had enough. What was going on for you that made you make that decision?
Basically, I lost. That was it. And as you know, the pro game is so like fickle, where you get a loss, like you have to rebuild. Whereas amateurs, you lose, doesn't matter. You go to the next tournament. You may lose in the first round in a tournament, then go to the next one and win the gold medals. And so, you know, there is no rebuilding process as an amateur, but as a pro, when you take a loss, it's like the end of the world. And I'd already lost in 2016 to Matty Hoskins. So after I'd lost, I was like in the flipping wilderness in terms of boxing. I had 2 fights in 2 years, and there were 2 6-rounders. It was like a complete joke. And so then once I signed with Mark Dunlap, who's managing me now, he said, look, I'm gonna get you busy. The key to success is staying busy. I'm gonna make sure you're busy, and I'm gonna get you the title fights if you want. So that's what he did, and the ball was rolling nicely. And then I fought Richard Riakporhe for the WBA Intercontinental title, and I felt that I was going to beat him. I was 100% confident, and then I lost. I got stopped, first time ever being stopped, amateur or pro. So I was like, obviously, I'm not the guy who I think I am, and so it was just a hard pill to swallow. And I felt like I might have been kidding myself if I couldn't operate it. Like, I never wanted to be someone who operates at a low level. Always, when I turned pro, when I started boxing as an amateur, the goal has always been to be a world champion. So I was like, well, obviously I'm not as good as what was once thought if I can't beat Richard Riakporhe. But then I had to do a lot of soul searching in it, and thank God that I was able to prove myself wrong. I am as good as what I think I am.
To be honest, obviously, as a coach, I hear a lot of stuff behind closed doors that maybe a lot of people aren't willing to say in front of the cameras. So with regard to that fight, Tommy, you were the favourite amongst a lot of people. And I don't know if you had heard that. And I'm just wondering, did you take the fight with Richard? Did you think you were going to walk through him easily? Or, yeah, I'm just trying to gauge how you kind of felt about that fight. Because, like I say, behind closed doors, everybody was saying that you were going to win that.
Everyone, like even me, I thought it was a penalty kick, to be honest, and I just was holding because Sam Haid is one of my good friends, and Sam had fought him in the fight before, and Sam picked up a horrendous accidental injury. Or not accidental, Richard landed a good shot, but the injury was the reason why the fight stopped. And I thought Sam had won every round. So me and Sam was talking, and we were all just confident that, you know, I was going to beat him. And the fight came, I took it at 2 weeks' notice as well. So that shows how, like, much I overlooked him. I was like, of course I'll beat this, no problem, 2 weeks. I was training, but obviously, if you're training for a championship fight, you need a full camp, and especially somebody the caliber of Richard Riakporhe. But at that moment, I just dismissed him and dismissed what he can do, and I paid the price for overlooking him. But definitely in the gym and in my own head, I thought it was a foregone conclusion. So Richard showed up on the net and gave me the kick in the arch that I needed. It was the wake-up call that I needed.
So just give me a track off your list, and we'll come back to that. So give me the name of give me the name of the artist and the name of the song.
Okay, the first one we'll go for is Computer Love, Zap and Rock.
When I read that, I was just like, anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so we'll go with that one.
You're not old enough to remember that, are you?
You know what? I'm 29, but this song. Do you remember? Have you ever watched Menace to Society?
Is that a film? It sounds familiar.
So I think it must have came out in like 93. I'm born in 90,
right.
November 90. So when I got a bit older, say maybe 7, 8,
right.
like it's maybe you shouldn't be watching at that age.
Yeah.
We put it on, and there's a scene in it where Kane, who's the lead role, he gets a new car, and then there's a guy has new rims on the car, and then he jacks him for the rims, and then puts them on his car, and then he pulls up at a barbecue, and that's the song playing, and he's just like, and everybody's looking at him. Just saying that, I was like, I can't wait till I'm 17 to get a car. I'm just play that song every day. So ever since I was that young, it just always had like a special thing. It's from that movie. It just had a special thing in my heart, and I just love it. And then I always listen to it throughout my childhood all the time, pretending to drive.
We were talking about Richard Riakporhe. You were saying that you took that fight with just 2 weeks to fight night. Did you feel a little bit of pressure, having been in the wilderness, as you put it? Did you feel a little bit of pressure that? No, so you're not a fool. You know it takes there's a massive difference between training, ticking over, and fight ready. However, an opportunity like this pops up. I'm just interested to know whether you felt a little bit of pressure to take that opportunity in case it was your last.
To be honest, see, before it, as I said, my manager Mark was getting me busy. So he put on a show in the Ulster Hall, and it was going to be we thought it was going to be the last time there was going to be boxing in the Ulster Hall. So it was a big event in the city centre, and I was fighting a journeyman. So I had been training for a fight like 2 weeks prior. So I was in good shape. And even though it was a journeyman, I always train as though it's a world title fight. So I was in great shape. And then while I was training, then I got I got notified about this opportunity. Mark was saying, look, this is a great opportunity. We're not going to take it unless you're 100%. And I says, definitely, of course. So I felt like it was a godsend. I felt like the stars were aligning for me. Go get this win on Sky Sports, get my first title, and then go on to like something bigger after it. So I just felt like everything was slotting into place perfectly. And in hindsight, it did slot into place perfectly, but just not the way that I wanted it to. So I mean, like, I'm so obviously you don't want losses on your record, but that loss was more helpful than any win I've had ever.
Okay, you've come from a place of I'm done with this sport to actually I'm ready to move up to that next level, which is brilliant. And which also shows that sometimes things are gifted to you and you don't see the gift until quite some time later. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. That's a great statement that you made, and it's so true. And when I say to kick up the arts, it wasn't in terms of my training, because I've always trained hard, but in terms of letting things slide that I should have been more on top of, you know, in terms of everything. So once that happened, I knew that I would get another opportunity. No, once I decided like I wasn't retiring, I knew that I would get another shot at something big again. Because of my record being tarnished, people will try and use me as a stepping stone, and then that did come round. But because if I had another loss, that really would have been me finished. I would have had to go to like the journeyman route or like a gatekeeper. So I made sure that everything was in place, that I had no excuses, and that's what I said to Mark. I said, Mark, look, don't give up on me. I'm gonna make this right, and trust me, I'm not gonna get beat again. And thank God he stuck with me, because other managers might have just went, oh, forget about him. He's a hype job.
It's true, you know. Obviously, whatever he saw in you right in the beginning, he still believes in you, which is brilliant. Because, like you said, most people, it's all about that, isn't it? And they would have done one a long time ago. Yeah, I understand that you have had those little struggles throughout your career. What has kept you going, other than your manager standing by you? What else has kept you sort of buzzing and a little bit of fire in your belly?
Just my ambition. I think that's purely it. Ambition. I've had this goal from a start of boxing to be a world champion. When I went to the amateur club, I never had any aspirations of being an Olympic champion or going to the Olympics. I just always wanted to be a world champion professional, and I still want to do that. And I really know that I'm good enough, and I know I'm not kidding myself. And now it's like literally in touching distance. So that's just what keeps me going.
So let's have another tune from your list. Who is it by and what is it?
Okay, I'm gonna do another one that I shouldn't know, but Forget Me Not, Patrice Racing.
I reckon you're an old soul.
I definitely am, because the reason why I love this song, right, is once again back to a childhood movie, Man in Black.
Yes.
And remember, that was Here Comes the Man in Black, and then so I love that song, and I always loved Will Smith in it. And I remember one day, years after the movie came out, I was in the shop, and I was like, oh, I love this song. And then I was expecting the good guy dressed in black, remember that? And then this woman started singing. I was like, what's going on here? Because I didn't know it had been sampled.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it, and I was like, this is actually better than the Man in Black. And then I went home, researched it, and I just became a massive Patrice Rosen's fan.
When I started to sort of see your professional career, and you weren't with Peter Taylor, I was kind of a bit, I couldn't understand why, because he was around you a lot, wasn't he, when you were an amateur? Is it kind of like, you know, just your paths aligned right at the right moment because you're back with him and you seem to be sort of flying at the moment?
Yeah, like I said, that was the React Perfect was the perfect gift to get everything into place what I needed. And everything just went the way it should have went. As you say, me and Pete know each other from the amateurs, but he was obviously working with Katie and female boxing more. But we went on camps, and me and Katie's always been good friends, and me and Pete's always got on great. And I remember as a kid, the first time I met him, I must have been 14, and I actually sparred Katie. Katie was still lightweight when she was that age, and it's funny. I was like, I can't hit a girl. She got in. She just me up. So Pete took me on the pads after, and he always made me feel good.
Yeah.
He always gave me praise, and we just gelled. So when I turned pro at the start, Pete wasn't training pros in. He was still working with the amateurs. And a fella, Luke Keeler, he was training in a different gym, and then he swapped over to Pete. But when I seen Luke fought one day, a 6-rounder against a journeyman, and he had a draw. And then it was like 6 weeks later, when he was working with Pete, he fought Conrad Cummings for the WBO European, and he was like a weight Muhammad Ali. He was just unreal.
Nice.
So I was like, if Pete can really make those changes to something, and then he fought Conrad again, and he boxed for it in the game. Like, Pete obviously is the man, and then I said maybe Conrad, his style just suits Luke's, and it makes Luke look better. But then he fought Lewis Aries in Belfast, and Lewis had fought for a world title, and somebody who I knew from the amateur scene. We went to the same world championships and got bronze medal, so I knew he was the real deal. But then Luke went in and done a job on Lewis then too. Because like, obviously, if Pete can make those drastic improvements on Luke, he can drastically improve my game too. So that fight with Lewis and Luke happened after the Reactor fight. After I fought Reactor, I had 2 warm-up fights, came home, and then I had the opportunity to fight for the WBC International. So once I seen Luke boxing out his skin again, I just says to Pete, look, would you work with me? And he says, yeah, definitely. You've always been a great talent. And from day one, it was he just clicked, and everything's just been going great since.
Brilliant. Firstly, when you sparred with Katie, just between me and you, did she bash you up?
Yeah, she started bashing me up. I don't even know if Katie can remember us, but you know, women's boxing wasn't what it was when I was 14. Well, it wasn't what it was today when I was 14. And Katie was the only female boxer that anyone knew. And so we were all sparring, and like you had to switch opponents, every round. And the ring was, and it was 4, like it was, like the ropes to make it into 4 rings in one ring.
Yeah.
So and then with Katie, and I was like, this is a girl, like, I can't do this. And she just
Really?
kept, like,
Yeah.
just the back flip, just all over me. Like, this is weird. And then before I knew it, it was too late, and the round was over, so I just got let up.
Beautiful.
So,
I saw her box Natasha Jonas in the 2012 Olympics in London, and the crowd was just electric. When she came out, everybody was lifted out of their seat by the sound of cheering and there was pure joy in the air. It was. I mean, yeah.
But Katie, she is a nice little hero, but she's a global, like, female hero too. Like, everyone who's involved with female boxing and female boxers, they're all an awful lot to Katie. She and Pete too. The two of them campaign tirelessly. They get women's boxing in the Olympics. They get women's boxing even respected, and so Katie's done a great job, and she's a real pioneer. At her and Pete, there was both of them, and like, I remember from as a kid, her and Pete and Katie just always very tall, always working hard, going to all the camps, sparring. And if you look today, female boxing is booming, and it wouldn't be if it wasn't for Katie.
I absolutely agree. And I'll tell you something now, as an amateur coach, I'm still an amateur coach, everyone was dying to know what they were doing in their training camps. Literally, everyone was like, what are they up to? Because it was quite a closed camp, wasn't it? They never used to let people in.
They used to, Pete and Katie used to train away. They didn't really train. So it wasn't until maybe 2012, getting ready for the Olympics, then they joined, like, the two camps merged. But when I say the two camps, like, Katie was the female team, and there was a couple of other girls who were good too, but it was Katie was coming on all our trips with the senior team. So Pete really just soaked up every bit of knowledge that he got from the various camps all around the world, and still to this day, every night he's studying boxing. He got a Russian training program, and he spent the whole weekend translating it in English. So, like, he just really lives and breathes boxing, and that's what you need in a coach. And Pete's passion is almost embodied by Katie. That's his daughter. The way he brought her up, the way she boxes, and then the passion that she has, all comes from her dad. So he's the real deal.
Yeah, he is. I mean, everybody, every coach really respects him. And like I say, there was a kind of rubbernecking every time, like, there was a competition coming up. Everyone wanted to know what they were doing. Everyone wanted to know.
See the stuff what Pete does, it really isn't rocket science, but he's just.
But he understands boxing.
He understands boxing, and he understands boxers. Like, a lot of his the technical stuff's great, but he gives you so much belief in your own head. He's like, he just makes you feel confident, and once you're confident, you know what I say. With the amateur boxers too, once somebody gets in the groove, you can't stop them. So Pete finds that groove for you, and that's what I said to him the first day when we started working. I said, Pete, look, I rely heavily on the corner, so anything you tell me to do, I'm gonna do it. He says, right. So I'm like a puppet on a string, and he's the puppet master.
Nice. Let's hear another tune from your list.
All right, so we'll creep up the decades a bit, and we're gonna go for Nothing But a G thing. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
One, two, three into the four. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance, so back on up.
Cause you know we're about to rip shit up.
Give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Compton and Long Beach together, now you know you in trouble. Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby.
How old was you when this came out?
I was probably about 2. So it's,
Bless
once
you.
again, I'm from a big musical family, and I'm not a great singer or anything, and all my family were all brilliant singers. So I just have an ear for music, and anytime anytime I get introduced to something, I always want to find out where it came from. So for me, in terms of like Snoop is my favorite rapper, but when I started listening to rap, I must have been 9, and it was Eminem, the real Slim Shady, and one of my friends taped his brother's CD, and he gave me the tape. So I didn't know that. I was like, this is amazing. And then he says, Dr. Dre produced everything. And I was like, who's Dr. Dre? And then he started schooling me on that. And he says, listen to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, and don't give me all the history of West Coast hip hop. And my auntie's boyfriend at the time I was looking in the CD collection, and The Chronic was in the CD collection. And I was like, can I do this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so I put it on, and I was like, from the first couple of songs, they were all like fair, but then when Nothing But a G thing started, I was like, it just blew my mind. I was like, I just loved it, just hooked, and then I just sat and just listened to it over and over and over again. And bear in mind, children shouldn't be listening to this, but I was just hooked, headphones on. Then I remember sitting in my living room with my grandparents and had the volume turned down low so that they couldn't hear it. The thing. Bad words. Just listening to it, 1, 2, 3, and 2, 5, and I just hooked, just mesmerized by that song.
I like the way you had to sneakily listen to it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's amazing though how music can get you though, isn't it?
Big time. Especially my family's on my mother's side is a big like gospel family. Like my grandfather is a pastor in a church, so all my aunties now are all gospel singers. So growing up from a really young age, there wasn't too much secular music, and I should have threw a couple of gospel songs in the list, but
you should have actually.
And I just love gospel music too, but when we were growing up, we were listening to all gospel. But so but my own mother wasn't born again, wasn't saved, so I was getting like exposed to like the secular music. So my cousins used to love coming around my house because they didn't have to listen to God all the time. But once I found hip hop, I just went back the way from Eminem, made my way back, found Dre and Snoop, and just love.
Yeah, that especially that old school hip hop.
Old school, I love.
Oh. So I read that you'd called out social media and saying basically it's fake with regard to the Black Lives Matter movement. Talk to me about that.
Well, I'm not saying it's all fake because there are some genuine people there, but you as a black woman would have noticed some of the phonies too, because as black, and I reckon you would have been exposed to people's true colors being in the boxing scene, because obviously in Ireland, but I remember going on trips and English boxing, there isn't very much black people involved in it, and the few black guys who I did see on the team, they were getting ostracized and bullied. This is like at a lower age. I'm not talking about the guys like the when they got older, but I remember going to my first Four Nations as a schoolboy. There was one black boy on the team, and he was getting tortured by the rest of the team. And I remember thinking, like, thank God the Irish team isn't like this. like, or else I wouldn't even box. It would be hell. So to be a black person who is around a lot of white people all the time, like you know how people really feel. Not to say that they're all white people's race, but there are a lot of race people who have prejudice in their heart. So when I seen certain people posting Black Lives Matter and this needs to stop and the black fists and all that, I was going, these people are just doing this just because it's trendy. They don't give a shit about black people or black issues. You know, they say niggers. They refer to black people as niggers and coons, and you know they wouldn't like their daughters to marry a black man or their sisters and all. So if you're not concerned about black issues, don't pretend to be. So that's why I just called it out. And then see when I done that post, my friend Tyrone McCann, who's my best friend, he was like, I thought you would have got more hits on it. And I says, no, the reason it did get a bit of traction, but it cuts too close to the bone and there's too many people who it applies to. So I just call it as I said.
So yeah, the reason why I brought it up, number one, is because I am in total agreement with you in terms of I have seen, and I'm mainly corporations and businesses that have put up their little black square, and I've been quite vocal on my personal Instagram about how fake it all is, to be honest with you. What people don't normally like is somebody talking the truth, to be honest with you. And I was feeling like, I wonder if you had a backlash for coming out and saying it as it is. Has that happened to you at all?
There's been no backlash because I never like singled anybody out. And I just said it as a broad statement. And if the cap fits word, so I feel if somebody was to try and like say something to me, like what do you say that for? They would be blowing their own cover as to how they really feel. You know what I mean? So nobody said nothing.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because yeah, I've called it out on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, and yeah, I lost followers, and I lost followers on my business one as well. But
yeah, followers too. I lost it, but so bad.
Yeah. I wanted to just go back and talk about Peter for a second. So I just find it interesting. So you live in Belfast and he lives in Dublin. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah.
So how far is it between the two? So don't you go backwards and forwards?
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half.
Okay.
So it's not too bad, but because some people travel across the city like that for work in the morning, the same length of time. And I like driving. As I said, it was always my dream to be a driver from a young boy. I'll just have my music playing and I can do like any new albums.
What were your arm out?
Can not like do album reviews. And no, I do it right now and listen to what see was any good. So I enjoy the drive up and down, but at the start of camp, it's okay. But see, towards the end, it's like, no, because your weight's coming down and you're getting a wee bit aggy. It's like, it's still my head. And so the next camp, I'm going to stay a couple of nights a week.
That shows a lot of dedication on your part in terms of, you know, just taking after training, because you're going to be knackered. But on the flip side, I can understand how tough it is to be away from them gorgeous little girls of yours.
You know, like, and as well, it's only up the road, so there's no excuse not to come home and see them. And the reasons to go out far, like when I made the decision to join Pete, like as I said, I'm not gonna sell myself short for the sake of convenience. Like if I want to be the best, I need to work with the best, and Pete has proven that he's the best in the country. So I don't mind it because I know it's for a good cause. And the fact that you drove an hour and a half, when I get to the gym, there's no point messing around. There's like I never ever slack in the gym, because anytime I feel like slacking, I say, I fucking drove all this way. I'm not wasting my time to get here.
Yeah.
So
100%. And isn't McKenna your mate? Isn't he with him as well? Do you all train at the same time and stuff?
Yeah. Well, they came after.
Oh, okay.
So they were training with a different coach, and it didn't work out. So again, them two, they wanted to go to the next level. So
But didn't he when McKenna fought Mamoon, he was in his corner though, was he not?
Was, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're loving it too. The improvements that they're making is that Tyrone's making is that he loves it. And I don't know if you've seen the latest interview Pete done, and it was in regards to fighting behind closed doors. But
I did actually.
He wants it behind closed doors because Toronto box better.
It's interesting because when I read it, I thought, why would he give that information away? I actually was like, no, he should have kept his mouth shut.
Because see, Tyrone McCann, he's a masterful boxer, and like he's another. Me and him came up in the same club, we're the same age, and we used to go down to the national championships when we were kids, saying, right, put on bets who's gonna concede the least points and all that stuff. Like me and him, like just blazed the trail through the amateur team underage, and then when we got the senior, he won the intermediate championships. He had 4 fights and he stopped every one of them in the first round because he hadn't trained well, and he says, I'm not fit enough to go. It used to be 4-2s. I'm not fit enough for 4 rounds. So he put everything in the first round and stopped everyone in the first round. So Tyrone can box his like socks off. But see, now that he's on TV and he's the showman entertainer, he just goes into the wars and makes life difficult for him. So
Here's the thing. I don't doubt. I mean, looking at him, I know he can box. The kid can box. Sometimes he makes it really hard for himself, I think, personally. Like, I'm just like, why would you? But here's the thing. I think with regard to his fight with Mamoon, I don't think people thought any less of his boxing skill. They actually just thought, the general consensus that they thought either he lost or it was a draw. It was nothing, my understanding, and even myself, I'm going to admit it, I watched that fight, I watched it turn down because I was out the country, and the general consensus was Mamoon was going to win that championship. Everyone thought it, right? The whole of the championships. So when I came home and I'd heard that those two had fought and what had happened, I did go back and I watched it. And I watched it with the commentary turned down because I'll be totally honest, 99%, it annoys me. It annoys me. However, I did turn it up in the break part at one point, and I heard whatever his name is, O'Hara Davis saying that he thought he was losing. And then I heard Macklin. My long-winded point is this. I don't think that people think any less of him as a boxer. I honestly don't. I think that people really respect Tyrone McKenna as a boxer, but they just thought on that day that he didn't get it, or at least it was a draw.
But no, see, in terms of all of his fights, nobody's ever seen how good he can box. I think he fought in the quarterfinals of the tournament. He boxed well.
I saw that fight.
When he fought out in America, his second or third fight, he fought in American TV, and he fought at late middleweight, just not a fight. And this guy, big guy, and he boxed on the back foot, obviously because he didn't want to get involved. The guy was too big, and he was outstanding. And if you see him sparring, like we were sparring today in the gym, he's a elite level boxer. But when he fights, like he can fight obviously because he keeps winning fighting, but like you say, he makes life difficult for himself, and it's all down the crowd.
It's all down the. Sorry, say that again.
it's all down to the crowd. He's just trying to be a crowd pleaser.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because I get it. I understand it. So I understand the need on the pro scene to be an entertainer, and you've kind of got to sort of play both cards. You've got to be the entertainer, but you've got to be able to box, right? But the fact is, the kid can box. So maybe it's just about, and maybe this is the pieces of the jigsaw are now going to fit together with Peter. There's going to be more of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I always say to him, and I've been saying it to him, he's an entertainer.
Yeah.
Catering. Like I've just quoted saying there, he's the Irish Dennis Rodman. That's what he's like. I grew up with this guy. He lived with me from he's 14. He is just a guy who's just spontaneous and just plays his own tune and just a brilliant fella. An entertaining guy outside the ring. But see the big names in boxing, Floyd Mayweather, Tyson Fury, their fights are safety first approaches. They're never in really, well, Fury's different because he's a heavyweight and he could get knocked out at anything. But usually their fights are technical fights. Like against Klitschko, it was a technical affair. The first Wilder fight. Even the second Wilder fight, it was more technical, but Fury kept hitting him and hurting him and dropping him. Look at all Mayweather's fight. The casual fan will say, can't believe it's out of the website. It was boring, but they still got up every time he was fighting.
Yeah, the casual fan wouldn't know. I'd love them to fight, though. Would you not love them to fight?
Yeah, who? Toronto Maroon 2?
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
Big quality.
Record straight.
Big quality fight.
Yeah, it was a great fight the first.
Oh, yeah, no, it was. It was a quality fight. It really was a quality fight.
That's it again.
Yeah. That was surely, I think, after the whole series is...
Yeah.
What's it called? I want to call it WSB, but it's not, is it?
Oh, Golden Contract.
Golden Contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's have another one of your tracks. Who's it by? And why have you picked it?
Okay, this one is Clark's by Vybz Kartel. And this one, I'm a Vybz Kartel fan. I think anybody with a drop of West Indian blood is a Vybz Kartel fan. But this one, it's just just a song that just you can't turn over. Like I said, it's just one that just no matter what. I remember when even Clark's, I know in Jamaica, everyone is wearing Clarks, and you see Yardies maybe in England wearing Clarks, but Clarks aren't a fashionable shoe. When this song came out, I was close to buying a pair of Clarks because I just loved it that much. But then, I think I came in 2010 maybe, around that time anyway. But it still goes off to this day, and you could play at any party and everyone would love it. And I love it. It's another one for me, driving, just singing at the top of my lungs. And I remember getting one of my daughter's first walking shoes. And we got them in Clark's. And I was just loving it. Everybody get me out, let me get my Clarks. So it's just one of them ones.
And when you get the new Clarks, the daddy, I wish color that, you know party. And when you get the new Clarks, the daddy, and when you get the new Clarks, the daddy, and when you get the new, and when you get the new, and when you get the new, and when you get the new Clarks, the daddy, I wish color that, daddy no party. And you alone have the style, the daddy, the queen for England have love of yardy.
Real bad man no muggle in a shot. 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 Straight jeans, cut off foot pants. Everybody have to ask when me get my Clarks. Everybody have to ask when me get my Clarks.
So the reason why I'm laughing is because Clarks is a massive thing in Trinidad as well. So it is a West Indian thing, isn't it?
Nations, all the West Indians love it.
Yeah, Because I've tried to tell my cousins many a time that we don't wear Clarks here, and they can't believe it.
I can't believe it. Like I think I had Clarks maybe 1 year in school for school shoes. So,
And you felt shame as well, didn't you?
that song's so good that you would wear them.
Yeah. So, talking about, you know, the next sort of 6 months to a year, I know some of it is out of your hands, but if you could sort of write a wish list, what would it look like?
I want the WBC full world title. I want to fight McCarthy for that. Beat him. Defend it. This is in 6 months. Win it. Defend it one time. And fight a small heavyweight and cash out. And then try and get into the music business or be an actor or something. Get in the entertainment industry.
So you're going to basically make some money, win some titles, make some money, and then just retire and then do something else with your life.
Yeah, that would be like that could happen in 6 months. Well, not unless the lockdowns, but say in a regular 6 month time frame, like you could win. I look at Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew had the ideal career. He won the WBC cruiserweight title. Defended once, went up and fought David Haye twice, Money in the Bank, and that's it. Now he's just living life.
Yeah.
So if I could do that, that would be amazing. And I think if I didn't box, I would still be involved as a coach. Like I do help with the kids in my local amateur club where I used to box for, because
That's nice.
I really love it, and I have so much experience. I'm a round pro, and I have a good boxing IQ. Not to blow my own trumpet or anything, but like I know the game, so I would love to, you know, mold a couple of champions and amateurs now, not pros. I don't know if I would like to be a pro trainer, but I would love to take like a young group of kids and bring them right through up this senior level, and then let them go on and go international.
Tommy, it's been really nice having a chat with you and getting to know you. You seem normally quite shy, and it's really nice to just hear a little bit of your story, your hopes and dreams. Stay in touch with us, won't you?
I will do. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I see you once this is all gone.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxer UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.